Hello, neutronauts. Neutron? Astronauts? Neutronauts? How do we feel about that one? Yeah, right, enough of that. Welcome back. I am Leonidas. This is Nucleares version 2.0, patch 178, episode 8. I looked it up this time, so I knew the number. In our last episode, we installed our third loop. We got it running. We brought second loop, or we already had the second loop running. So now we've got two loops going. And originally what I had planned to do was to do a loop swap between 1 and 2, to perform maintenance on 2, but I just realized I think I did that earlier. Like in one of my earlier episodes, episode 2, maybe 3, we did a loop swap with 1 and 2. So that's boring. Not that this was going to be much more exciting, but I'm coming into this unplanned, untested. I have not practiced this. Let's turn down the music because we're going to get dinged by YouTube. So I have not practiced this ahead of time. I just got home from work and said, hey, let's play some Nucleares. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to do total plant shutdown. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to shut down the entire plant. And as though we needed to, we do need to perform maintenance on the core because it's up there. And I know we're at what day are we at? 4? Yeah, you know that, what do you call it? That audit's coming, and it's going to schedule it, and my core maintenance is going to, or wear is going to be up around 50%, which is would fail an audit, and then the audit's going to come, and they're going to say, oh no, the city's going to say, we can't let you shut down because we need you, you're so important. So I'm going to do it before the audit's scheduled. So I'm going to do one better. So let's go ahead and do that today. The first thing we do, actually, let me find my checklist. Oh man, this is old school here. Let me see if I even have one. I don't think I do. You know what? We might just make it up as we go. Yeah, that's a loop shutdown. Double loop core shutdown. Here we go. This one will work. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to request a maintenance shutdown. And we'll see what they come back with. Typically when you do a startup, I'm going to actually go triple speed. When you request a startup, right now it's 2:43 in game. You request a startup, they give it to you next hour if you get in time, and you start up in the third, or at this point it'd be 3 o'clock. Between the 3 o'clock and 3:59, if you bring your turbines online and you're producing power, good for you, good job. You don't gain anything. You don't get any points or prestige points for it. If you don't miss it, they don't penalize you either. It doesn't count against you, if you were to lose licenses or things like that. So it's not a massive deal. When it comes to shutting down, well, that just proves their point. They give you not the next hour, but the one following. So in this case, they are giving us 5 o'clock, which kind of makes sense when you think about it, because we want this hour, it would be the 4 o'clock hour, to kind of consider shutting down, prepare ourselves for it, and then once 5 o'clock hits, which they've given us, then we should be done. So between 4 and 4:59, if we make our demand, we will not get anything for it. We won't get any prestige points. And it's during that time that we can actually shut off before 5 o'clock. So that's why they do it that way. What you're going to see is at 4 o'clock, we're going to get the word shutting down right here in green letters to denote that they're not going to penalize us. We're also not going to get anything if we do meet demand. But we will try and hit it for this hour, which I'm not going to now because I guess we're not too far off. Oh no, it was 29. I was looking at only one number. So we're actually okay. Just for fun, we'll bring it up a little bit. Actually, what I'm going to do to make this video a little shorter is I will pause it here and skip ahead, and we will come back when it's 4 o'clock, time to shut down. Okay, welcome back. So as you'll see, it's now the 4 o'clock hour, which says right here, we are shutting down. So we can begin our process. We're going to do a double loop shutdown, total reactor shutdown. If you had a third loop, you would just repeat with loop 1, or whichever loop you're doing first. Your second loop would both be the same, and the third one's a little bit different. So let's go ahead and start. The way that we do this is I turn off my turbines first. and I don't know, let's just pick one at random. So let's go, I guess, one selected, so we'll start with number 1. And what I'm doing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my bypass all the way. What this is going to do is cause a drop in my torque. I am watching this torque. As soon as it hits about 2.7, 2.6, I am disconnecting from. Actually, I can do it now because they fixed the bug where before, if you disconnected from the grid and left your turbine running at RPMs, it would cause damage. Well, now we don't need to worry about that. So I'm just going to open it now. That's the first item on my checklist. We're doing one. Yep, we will open it. Okay, you'll see that we are desynced here. Okay, it falls out of sync, and that is going to just fall. We're going to switch this because I don't like the clicking to loop 2. And now we can start shutting down the loop now that this turbine is powering down. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stop heat coming from the reactor. So we're going to do that. And we're going to open up our MSCV so that any steam that is generated is going to go straight to the turbine, but it's not going to go to the turbine. It's going to go through the bypass, get returned back to the condenser. Let's check our condenser temperature. Okay, and away we go. So what we're watching for here now is, since we've shut off the heat, this is going to drop. And our volume is going to rise. So I'm going to leave this at 15, and when this gets to 100, I will maybe shut off I guess we'll find out. But once this gets below 100, it'll stop making steam. Our pressure is falling, and we got to make sure this gets below 100. If it doesn't get below 100, there's nothing. We're just kind of sunk. The faster we run our secondary pump, the more it's going to cool off our steam generator because it's dumping in more of this cold water. And you're going to notice that this number is rising rather rapidly. Again, I like to have mine at 50,000, which is where I want to shut it off. So I'm actually going to shut it off at 40,000 because as the pump winds down, it's going to keep pumping in more water till it actually goes to 0. But also all the steam that was in here that's now condensing back into water once we get below 100 is going to condense or recondense back into water. Did I just say the same thing twice? I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, so it's going to continue to rise. 1, from the pump spooling down, it'll pull water from here, and number 2, from all the steam condensing back into water, that's going to rise. So we're below 100, and we're going to watch this. What did I say? 40,000. We'll do 40,000. See how we do. So again, this level is probably going to keep dropping. Yes, it is, because we are pulling from it. I'll speed up time a little bit. We'll get to 40. How much pressure do we have? 11. That's actually fairly high. I'm going to turn it off early. We'll turn it off early. When we do this, though, our temperature will decay naturally, but not as fast when we're not pumping in or dumping in cold water. So you see our pump is spinning down. This is still coming up, and it will for a little while. So we have essentially killed loop 1. Our tertiary loop. It's done. Right now we're just running on loop 2. And while that's doing its thing, we can start killing off loop 2, except for that it's a little different because we need to cool off our reactor. We need to bring our reactor to 0. We need this heat to drop. And we kind of need to get this to a subcritical state before we can cool off the other, before we shut off the steam generator. And the reason for that is because we need the coolant to keep going to help cool off our core. But as the primary circuit's going, it's still going to keep dumping heat into our steam generator. To counteract that, we're going to need to run our secondary pump longer, which is going to pull more water from the condenser, which we don't necessarily want, and it's a big thing. So notice this is 41 and still going. Yeah, so I did turn it off a little early, and that's fine. What we'll do is we'll run it again later to get that up to that 50,000 that I like. But notice that our temperature has just kind of stopped at 75, and that's okay. It's just going to stay warm. The water inside the steam generator is just going to stay warm. There's nothing wrong with that. Our pressure is dropping because that steam continues to condense, being below 100. So let's go ahead and start by inserting our rods at 100. As we do that, I believe with this new patch, we're going to see this temperature begin to drop, regardless of what our coolant loop is at. As we do that, we will go ahead and shut off this turbine now. So we will switch to loop 2, which we are. We will open that circuit. We will switch this to bypass and let it do its thing. And we are falling. Our temperature is falling. If we wanted to raise that, we can. I'd like to keep it where it is. Actually, maybe I will cool off. Let's just see what happens. Again, I didn't test this, especially with the new patch, and because this new patch, why I keep saying that is because they have reworked the calculations for things cooling off. And how we doing here? Oh, let's open up our MSCV all the way to get all that steam going back to the condenser. Check our condenser temperature. How we doing? That's fine. I suppose we could start cooling that off a little bit faster. Doesn't make all that big of a difference. We are... It's coming down, but not very quickly. So I will probably bring this up to maybe 25. Okay, now how are we doing over here? Very slow process. So remember that this needs to be a low temperature in order to bring this down. So this creates an interesting conundrum, and I don't know how I'm going to necessarily solve it because my volume's going to continue to rise as my temperature continues to fall. And I don't expect my core will fall much faster than my secondary temperature will. So I'm thinking through this conceptually, talking it out loud as we are doing it. Let's cool this guy off fast. I don't know that it'll make a massive difference, but hopefully it will. We will find out. Oh yeah. By the way, one of the things on the checklist is external power supply. That's why we have them on automatic. So our battery's kicked on, right? They're showing consuming. We're going to get all these alarms that the pumps quit for a second. It's starting in less than a minute. They should be on, which they are. They're generating power, right? But we've already got the external power going. So everybody, sorry for the false alarm. We'll go ahead and switch this to manual. Otherwise, it'll just kick back on if we leave it on automatic. We'll hit stop. Don't forget that step, everybody. Okay, let's see where we're at. So we're cooling up nicely there. Okay, we're getting to the point where we wanted to shut the other one off. Notice that it's still climbing, albeit slowly, so it won't get much higher than that. So I'm okay with where that one is. We set it at 25. That's a good number. We are still cooling off, but man, not very fast. Maybe we can increase this. Let's try increasing it up to 50. See what that does for us. It should, in theory, pull more heat off of the core, but also send more down here, which is still going to create a little bit of steam. Yep, because we're still... Yeah, so we are still generating steam, just not as high of a rate. I really need that cooled off a little bit faster. So maybe I won't do that. We'll go back to 25 on this. Again, I'm figuring it out. We're doing it live. We're doing it live. I don't test a lot of this stuff out ahead of time so that I come on here and look at me, look how great I am, and I'm perfect and I know everything. Well, only because I tested it a bunch of times and then showed you guys. I'm not like that. This is higher than I want it to be. We shut that off at 40,000 and it's getting to about 3, so about 4.7 is as high as I want to get this. I'm really hoping we get that below 100 by then. Otherwise, I may overfill. Yep, we're there. So let's go ahead and start turning it down. Hopefully, this continues to drop. I guess time will tell. And we need this just to keep doing its thing. It's falling, but just not very fast. Oh, yeah, well. I thought that you couldn't lose objectives if you were doing a shutdown, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so it's still winding down, so that's going to go well above 50. We'll probably have to... Where's our pressure at? Yeah. We're going to have to drain that off. That'll be okay. Before the restart, that is. We're below 100 now. We're no longer generating steam. Where are you at? Yep, you're below 100. That's good. Falling slowly. We need that to continue falling so that we can... I actually don't think we need to remove any of the water to perform core maintenance. It just has to go green. to be green. Oh, and we should have gone into shutdown mode ahead of time. Let's go to shutdown mode.
Operating mode
I have the checklist in front of me and I'm
Shutdown
not
mode.
using it. Can you tell? So that will naturally decay. How high did we get? We still going up? Yeah, we're still going up. Our pump is off, so this is all just the steam in the system. It should stop when the value gets around 1, kind of. Notice how low it's going up. That's just because the steam in the pipes is doing the same thing. It's cooling off as well. Temperature within our reactor, what do you call this thing? Turbine. That's the thing. Has also stopped. That's an interesting place to stop. Very interesting. That's a little warm. Warmer than what I thought. Okay, so we'll let that keep doing its thing. But basically, we are kind of shut down-ish. Yeah, I'd say very shut down-ish. That's nice and low. That's a little lower than we want. We'll probably end up filling that. So I'm going to go at triple speed. We're aiming to get this. I don't remember if it's... Is it 50 degrees if we're shutting down is when it tells us it's secure, or if it's still 55. I thought they were different. Well, this is my first shutdown in patch 178, so I guess we will find out together. And then once we're finished, once we're all shut down, we can have AO do his maintenance, so I should probably have him do a new one. The other one's not that old, but we'll have him do a fresh one, get him going on the maintenance, and we'll bring everything back up. Okay, so it was 50. So when you're shutting down, 50 is where it goes to secure. When you're coming up, it considers itself critical when it hits 55. Why the difference? I don't know. Notice this green light. This is what matters. Now that that light is green, we would be able to do this core. It's considered off, and we can do that. I'll give you a little note on that in a second. This will not turn green unless you are in shutdown mode. If I switch it to nominal,
New operating mode established.
it'll turn red.
Nominal mode.
Okay, keep that in mind. That also has to do if you ever needed to unload fuel, open hatches, etc.
New operating mode
That's a thing.
established.
I
Shutdown
also
mode.
believe, if I remember right, if we have AO service the core, all of our boron concentration is going to go to 0. And I'm not upset about it. Other than I already dumped in a bunch of boron, now I'm going to do more. But it's not a lot. We started out with 50. We used 3.5, whatever this is, units. I could do 10 more of these and still have some left in the tank, literally. So not too upset about it. Won't have to buy any anytime soon. But that just means, and that's nice because when we're doing our startup, if I start out with a concentration of 27, 23, and that's a liquid control rod, I got to overcome that just to get enough heat to get this thing to warm up. I'm pulling these rods to like 0 and then inserting them back in later, which for me, I don't really want. Let's take a look what we got here. So you stopped at 43. You're still going. And that's because the pressure's still coming down. I wonder if that has something to do with this. You don't have any pressure, but your temperature is high. That's an interesting question. I don't know the answer to that, how to cool these guys off. Because see, that one's well below 100. This one's, oh, now it is. It was at 120 something last we looked. It's below 100, not making steam. I like that. Condensers basically not doing anything anymore, so we can shut that off. And there we go. So we are shut down. We're ready to do maintenance. We would go here and say, hey, AO, triple speed. When you do core, you will do a time warp. A time warp is, well, if you've never seen it, you can, when you're shut down and the light is green over here, the secure core, you can hit T and it'll allow you to do this guy and you can select how many hours you want. It will just that warp time. I think I see it in some of my other videos as we're waiting for stuff to show up when we're putting our plant together. You can't control what happens during that time. If a pump is on, it will stay on. It will not turn itself off. You will run it out for hours on end. It's also not exact. When you put 1 hour, it'll be more, maybe less, but probably more than 1 hour passes if you look at your timestamps when you start it and when you come out of it. It's not always by a lot. We're not taking multiple hours, but it is noticeable and it is definitely more than 1 hour. So if you're going to do these tasks, it's really nice. If there's any that you need to do before, oh, we can turn off our pressurizer heaters, right? No need to keep running them because we're below temperature. It doesn't matter if we lose pressure on the vessel because we're not running our, oh, we are running our primary. I wonder if this is why it's having such a hard time. That should have been shut down a long time ago, like when we got below 55. I wonder if that'll have anything to do with it. Although it is rising a lot faster now. Oh, because we're triple speed. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know when it's going to end. We'll find out. But anyway, so if you have certain ones you need to do, transformer, the transformer swap. You guys remember that one? We got a transformer room, turn on or well, I guess we can turn them all off and do the maintenance on them. And then click them all at the same time. Because when you time warp, you will see them all get finished at once. And say, how long are we on this video? That's not too long. I might do it real fast. So he got a bunch more for us now. The generators, because they each have run for a little while, they got well some use. Man, that's an expensive bill for running it that little bit. Okay, let's go down to the transformer real quick. I will skip fast to this one. Okay, now we're here. We'll make sure all three of these are off. And when we go look at our maintenance, we can select them all. I'm going to do a quick save. What do I want? I don't know. Let's do... Okay, I found it. I saved it. And so we will go here. And we will go maintenance task. Notice the time, 6:38. Select all these guys. Look at that bill. Oh yeah. Hit accept. The game doesn't even know what time it is. It's still figuring it out. Our maintenance is all complete. It's 8 o'clock. So that was, if you added up the time beforehand, I didn't do it when I was looking at it, and I probably should have. But an hour and 22 minutes passed. And I don't know what it all added up to. I don't know if it was more, I don't know if it was less, but it's all done. And what I'm running back to show you now is our boron concentration. Also our core vessel, our core vessel level. It has been reset to 2426. If you remember, it was 2430 something. If you empty out the core vessel and then you do a time warp like that or do core maintenance, it will default back to 2426.69. Even if it's empty, AO will fill it up for you without taking any water from here, if I remember right. Our temperature still stays there, and check out our boron concentration, 0. He cleaned it all out for us. So there you go. And we look, no maintenance tasks. We're all good to go. We could even have him do another one just to check, but he won't find anything. And we're now ready to start back up. But I'm not going to do it. So there you go. This has been the double loop total reactor shutdown for maintenance before our audit. The going through the steps again, we're pretty easy. We do first, we pick a loop. We did loop 1 in this case first. We shut off the turbine by doing bypass. Well, open the circuit breaker, bypass to 100, let it shut down. Oh, I didn't turn these off, although we didn't need them, so it didn't matter. But I think they are burning where when they're on. No, I had it off, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, so we bypassed to 100 to start this spooling down. We then stopped heat coming. We then cooled this off when it got to less than 100 and to where we wanted our fill levels. We shut off the pump. In this case, this one stopped at 43. This one stopped at 53, a little bit higher than what we wanted. We'll probably drain this out. Probably want to load this one up a little bit more. This one didn't need to be running the whole time. Could have shut that one off. And then, so once loop 2, or loop 1 in this case, is all done, then we do a reactor shutdown where we insert the rods, start cooling the core. We leave this one running to help with that heat. We raise our secondary temperature after our turbines are already shut off. And the only difference between shutting off the second loop and then the only loop that's running is our core heat. We just gotta maintain that. So anyway, if you have any questions, comments, better ways to do this, please let me know. Come join us in the Discord, ask questions, say hi, show us videos, pictures, and it's a really great place to hang out and to talk with other what did I call you guys this episode? The Neutronauts. Come hang out with other Neutronauts in the Discord. Yeah? Okay. Anyway, I'm Leonidas. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again soon.